Hello and welcome to Shuttle Up and Teach, the podcast where we explore the latest trends, strategies, and insights in education. I'm your host, Kim G, and today we're diving into a topic that's transforming the way we approach professional development for educators. We're talking about embracing authentic learning experiences in professional development. The concept is not only reshaping how teachers learn, but also how they teach, ultimately leading to better outcomes for students. Let's get started. In our ever changing educational landscape, authentic learning experiences have become a beacon of inspiration. These experiences empower educators by providing them with tools that are not only practical, but also immediately applicable to their classroom. Traditional professional development often falls short because it doesn't address the real world challenges that teachers face daily. But authentic learning experiences bridge this gap. As Kennedy 2016 noted, professional development should be grounded in diverse theories of learning, enhancing teachers' teaching in meaningful ways. Active learning methods are particularly effective for adult learners who prefer practical, collaborative, and relative experiences, whether through experiential learning, technological integration, or reflective practices. These strategies are designed to inspire and engage educators, equipping them with the skills they need in today's dynamic professional landscape. So, what's the need for authentic learning? So, why is there a need for authentic learning and professional development? There are three key reasons: relevance and engagement, sustainability of learning, and better student outcomes. First, let's talk about relevance and engagement. Teachers are more likely to engage with professional development when it directly relates to their work. Too many times, I've sat in professional developments and it just felt like it was a waste of time. I was bored. I was thinking about what I was going to put on for dinner that night. And my mind was just all over the place. And I was sitting in a professional development for 4 hours. But here's why. At the time, taught fourth grade math and science, but the professional development was on something that had nothing to do with what I teach. It was on, what was it on? Let me think for a second. I think that was the one that was about um decodables. Like why am I forced to sit in a professional development about decodables and I teach fourth grade math and science? Interesting, right? But off task, let me get back to the main topic, right? So, authentic learning experiences mirror the challenges that teachers face in the classroom, making the training feel real and practical. I talked about the decodable training because it didn't feel real and it didn't feel practical. It didn't just, align to anything that I had going on in my teaching career at the moment. I took it solely because I needed the hours and because they put it on my transcript to take. Second, sustainability of learning. When professional development is based on real world application, it makes learning more sustainable. Educators can hone new skills in a supportive environment, leading to greater understanding and long term retention. I can't tell you anything that I learned about decodables. I can't tell you not one single thing because it did not apply to what I was teaching. It wasn't real world and it just didn't apply. So I let it fly, right? So if we take professional development and we base it on real world applications, this approach nurtures confidence and optimism among educators, ensuring continuous growth in their professional journeys. When I have collaborated with like minded teachers, like the teacher who will be on the later part of this podcast, Miss Marche Lee, I have never been happier and have never wanted to grow as much as I want to grow because we both have the same interests. We both teach math and science. Well, I'm no longer a classroom teacher. I just so happen to be a math interventionist and a math specialist. Well, basically, yes, I am still a teacher because I'm an interventionist, but I'm not in the traditional classroom anymore. And when I tell you, I love our conversations and how we challenge each other to grow and to be better. And this is something that professional development across the board, because I've taught in Texas and in Louisiana, I think this is something professional development is missing, something that teachers can relate to, something that they need. And finally, professional development, we striving for better student outcomes through professional development. The ultimate goal is to improve student learning. Studies have shown that when teachers incorporate real-world learning experiences into their professional development, student performance improves. When educators are adept at implementing innovative instructional practices, students benefit from more effective and engaging learning experiences. So let's talk a little more about critical components of authentic learning. To design effective authentic learning opportunities, several critical components must be considered. One, contextual learning. Professional development should take place within the context of the schools and classrooms where teachers work. This means using case studies, real-world settings, and relatable examples that educators can apply immediately. Two, active engagement. Teachers should engage in practical exercises, simulations, and group projects. All too many times, I have sat in a professional development and just listen to the presenter or the facilitator womp, 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 my life away on nothing. I can't tell you what they were womp, womp, womping about, right? So active engagement is key. And not only is it key, it's getting teachers to have a hands-on approach, right? Having a hands-on approach helps solidify new knowledge and skills. Listening to someone wah 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 is not giving hands-on knowledge and skills. Fostering a deeper understanding and ownership of the learning process. We need hands-on activities. Let us create. Let teachers create for their classrooms. My most favorite professional developments that I've ever been in were the Region 4 Make It Take It sessions. We were sitting there working like Santa's elves. But man, when I tell you, I still use the things that I made in that professional development today, and that was almost 10 years ago. And another one, right? Well, what did I leave off on? Two, so three. I think I'm on three now. Opportunities for reflection and feedback, like continuous reflection, right? Allow us to apply it in our classroom, and then we can come back and revisit and be like, well, this worked, this didn't work. We usually sit in a professional development for 8 hours of the day, and then that's it. We don't use it. We don't take it to the classroom. It's just there. So what was the point? Authentic learning experiences should include time for reflection and feedback. Teachers need to reflect on what they've learned, discuss their experiences with colleagues, and receive constructive feedback from facilitators. Reflective practice, as Jasper 2006 mentioned, enhances professional understanding and provides new insight. Now, this is one of my my favorite ones, right? Technology integration. Digital tools and platforms can greatly enhance real-world learning opportunities. For instance, learning management systems, like in our district, we use Schoology, and interactive e-learning tools offer immersive and adaptable learning experiences. Dysart and Recurrell, 2015, highlighted that when educators learn and demonstrate technology integration within a community of practice, they can develop technology-based content-specific lessons effectively. I hope I did not butcher those authors' names. And if you just so happen to be one of those authors and there's a 1 in a million chance that you come across this podcast episode and heard how I read your name, I do apologize, right? I tried my best and I'm practicing a growth mindset at the moment. Now, personal experience with blended learning. Let me share a personal experience that highlights the power of authentic learning. As an educator dedicated to professional development, I had the opportunity to design a comprehensive learning experience on blended learning using Articulate 360 and Schoology, right? So our campus administrator noticed that teachers were struggling with integrating blended learning into their classroom. They face challenges in using technology, designing, engaging online content, and balancing face-to-face and online instruction. You know, a lot of the times teachers are told you need to do blended learning, incorporate technology in your classroom. We don't know how you're going to incorporate it in your classroom, but you know what? This is what you need to do, and you have to figure it out. So to address this, I developed a professional development program that included a hands-on workshop demonstrating best practices for blended learning, support for technology integration to help teachers select and use digital tools effectively, and I gave them access to curated library resources such as lesson plans and instructional materials through Schoology, and ongoing mentorship and collaboration opportunities for teachers to share their experiences. And when I say ongoing mentorship, the teachers, I'll I set it up to where they can send me an email and they can schedule time for me to come to their classroom, and I could model. Sometimes I would model how to, you know, set up procedures for using technology in their classroom, or I would model to them how to use OneNote for as digital interactive notebooks. And so the continuous mentorship, and what I've noticed with the mentorship and collaboration opportunities, the teachers would implement that, and then they would in turn teach it to their teams, which, impacted change on the campus. It became more of a technology based campus. They weren't making as much copies as they used to, like, oh, when I first got to that campus, they were making it was like 2,000 copies a month. And I'm like, why are we making all these copies when we have Schoology and we have all this beautiful technology? The kids had one-to-one laptops in the classrooms. Like, come on, people, and you're still making 2,000 copies. But through that training, that professional development that I made, those teachers, they came back and they were so happy to tell me, hey, I did this today in my classroom with technology. The kids love it. Oh my goodness. Wow. I set up the learning management system where it would grade for me, and all I had to do was press the button and sync it to Skyward. I didn't have to grade on the weekend for 6 hours. And I was like, "Yay, girl, pat on the back, kiss your brain." All right. So, using Articulate 360, I created an engaging multimedia rich course that allowed for the teachers to learn at their own pace, right? All too sometimes, more times than not, is professional development is ran like a one size fit all when adult learners learn differently. It's like when we're expected to do all this for the kids, right? But the kids eventually grow into adults who still need those same accommodations that they when they were kids, and who still learn differently, right? So that's why I created the Articulate 360 course. And the platform enabled the inclusion of video tutorials, interactive simulations, and quizzes, providing a hands-on learning experience that was both immersive and practical. To further enhance the learning experience, I utilized Schoology, the learning management system, and this platform facilitated several key social processes essential for authentic learning: influence, teamwork, negotiation, and describing. So let's go a little bit into each of those in detail. Influence. By leveraging the social features of Schoology, teachers could see how their peers engage with material, which motivated and inspired them to participate more actively. Teamwork. Schoology enabled collaboration through group projects and discussion, encouraging teachers to work together, share ideas, and learn from each other. So I had the teachers group themselves based on a self-assessment at the beginning of the training into categories like developing, progressing, proficient, and advanced, because we were a standards-based grading campus. So this allowed for target support and guidance, particularly for those in the developing and progressing stages. And then using negotiation, the online activities requiring constructive dialogue and consistent building help teachers develop negotiation skills, which they could later facilitate into their classrooms. And describing, the platform provided numerous opportunities for teachers to articulate their thoughts and ideas effectively, enhancing communication skills and ensuring a deeper understanding of the material. Implementation strategies for authentic learning. Implementing authentic learning experiences in professional development requires thoughtful planning and a commitment to ongoing improvement. Here are some strategies to consider. Needs assessment. Conduct a thorough needs assessment to identify the specific challenges and areas for growth among the teachers. This ensures that the professional development is relevant and targeted. So my needs assessment, I sent out a survey. What is it that I can best help you with to set you up for success? And the teachers responded. They just needed to know how to start. Then you set clear, measurable goals. Set clear, measurable goals for the professional development program. This helps in tracking progress and evaluating the effectiveness of learning experiences. Active learning opportunities. Incorporate active learning opportunities such as hands-on workshops, simulations, and group projects. These activities makes the learning experience engaging and practical. I cannot stress this enough, okay? I may repeat it multiple times during this first episode of this podcast. And include time for reflection and feedback. Please, we need it. By thoughtfully planning and implementing these strategies, we can create authentic learning experiences that not only enhance professional development for educators, but also lead to better outcomes. Next up, welcome Marche Lee to our podcast. Let me give you a little background on Miss Marche. She majored in kinesiology and graduated cum laude within 3 years from the University of North Texas. She spent 2 years working in corporate healthcare before transitioning to teaching. Her passion for coaching youth dance part-time within schools led her to become a full-time educator. This is her 6th year of teaching, and she has taught a multitude of grade levels within her 6 years, ranging from kindergarten, and currently she's teaching 4th grade. Welcome, Marche. Thank you for joining us today on Innovative Educators. We're excited to dive deeper into the topic of authentic learning experiences in professional development. To start, can you share your perspective on why authenticity in professional development is so crucial for educators?
Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for having me today. Authenticity in professional development is crucial because it ensures that the training is relevant and applicable to real world classroom scenarios. When educators see the direct connection between their professional development and their daily teaching practices, then they are more likely to engage and integrate new strategies, ultimately enhancing their teaching effectiveness and, I believe, student outcomes.
Absolutely. In your experience, what are some of the most effective active learning strategies that can be incorporated into professional development for educators?
Well, I think some of the most effective and active learning strategies include hands on workshops, simulations, group projects, and interactive digital tools. These strategies allow educators to engage in practical exercises that mirror real classroom challenges. For example, using simulations can help teachers practice classroom management techniques in a controlled environment, while group projects foster collaboration and sharing of best practices among peers.
Interesting. You mentioned the importance of reflection and feedback in professional development. How can educators effectively incorporate reflective practices into their professional learning?
Okay, well, reflective practices can be incorporated through structured reflection sessions, journaling, peer discussions, and receiving constructive feedback from mentors or facilitators with an emphasis on that feedback, which is important. Educators can set aside time after professional development sessions to reflect on what they've learned, discuss challenges and successes with colleagues, and or write down their thoughts and insights. This structured reflection helps deepen understanding and allows for continuous improvements.
I agree with that. I find that in our district, they rarely come back and allow us to reflect on our learning. So let's switch to technology integration. It's another key component of authentic learning experiences. Can you provide some examples of how digital tools can enhance professional development for educators?
Well, first, let me start off with the direction we are headed in today's digitally advanced world. This is going to be a very important thing to use. So, digital tools can be greatly enhanced to it can greatly enhance professional development by providing interactive and flexible learning opportunities. So, for instance, learning management systems like Schoology can facilitate online course discussions and collaborative projects. Tools like Articulate 360 can create multimedia rich content, including video tutorials and interactive simulations, making the learning experience more engaging and practical. These tools will allow educators to learn at their own pace and revisit materials as needed, which could create more of a benefit for professional development in the long run.
Absolutely. So, speaking of technology, can you share more about your experience with designing a blended learning professional development course? Say, for instance, like using Articulate 360, Canva, Schoology, Moodle. What were some of the key takeaways from that experience?
So, as a fourth grade teacher, designing the blended learning course was a transformative experience. Using Articulate 360, I was able to create engaging and interactive content which teachers could interact with at their own pace. Schoology is one, and it facilitates social processes like influence, teamwork, negotiation, and articulation. These are crucial for authentic learning. One key takeaway was that the importance of providing ongoing support and creating a community of practice where teachers could share their experience and learn from each other. This collaborative approach not only enhances their learning, but it also fosters a supportive environment for continuous professional growth. I believe that with teachers need a supportive environment in order to be able to feel like they are advancing in their careers.
That's fantastic. So, finally, what advice would you give to educators and administrators looking to implement authentic learning experiences in their professional development programs?
I'm glad you asked, Kimberly. So, my advice would be to start with a thorough needs assessment to identify the specific challenges and goals of your educators. So, you would want to design professional development that is content specific, engaging, and incorporates active learning strategies. Ensure that there are opportunities for reflection and feedback. Leverage technology to enhance the learning experience. Most importantly, though, create a supportive environment where educators can collaborate, share their experience, and continuously improve their practice. This is important because collaboration will help educators feed ideas off of each other and create authentic learning, which is a journey and requires commitment and thoughtful planning.
Thank you so much, Marche, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to discuss this very important topic with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Innovative Educators. Remember to subscribe and leave us a review for your resources and to connect with our community. Until next time, keep innovating and inspiring. Thank you for joining me today on Shuttle Up and Teach. I hope this discussion on authentic learning experiences and professional development has provided you with valuable insights and practical strategies to apply in your own educational context. Remember, when professional development is immersive, relevant, and immediately applicable, it empowers educators to ultimately benefits our students. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave me a review. For more resources to connect to our community, visit my website, www.soon-to-be-shuttleupandteach.com. Until next time, keep innovating and inspiring.